Every time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up. So all of these factors, wait, hold up, Ben. All of these factors come together to create this pattern that we see of young men in my age range committing these shootings. And if you want to sit here and go back and forth, tit for tat, I can say Dylan Roof, Robert Bowers, John Earnest, none of these were black people, none of these were trans people, none of these were even Democrats. These were neo-Nazis who had things carved into their guns. You can sit here and muddy the waters, but you are just lying.
I just don't want innocent people to die. Sue me for that.
Then maybe tell Trump to tone down his rhetoric.
If you think this is Trump, this is exactly, you literally just
All right, we're on CNN with Abby Phillip, and Adam Mockler is about to go toe-to-toe with Ben Ferguson. Yeah, Ted Cruz's podcast buddy. This one gets heated fast, so pay attention because you'll see exactly how MAGA melts down when they're cornered with facts.
Let's get right to what America's talking about. Justice may not be blind after all, especially when the president's enemies are in the line of sight. The feds are said to be nearing a decision on charges against James Comey, accusing him of lying to Congress on the handling of the Russia investigation. The former FBI director has long said that he testified truthfully. The testimony happened back in 2020, and since the law requires any charge within 5 years, the DOJ now only has literally a few days before that deadline expires. But here's the important fine print in all of this. This is coming after Donald Trump publicly demanded that his attorney general charge Comey and other political rivals. Now, it's important to note, this is the same district in which Trump said that he fired a prosecutor for failing to find enough evidence against Letitia James, the attorney general in New York. Now, it's being run by one of Trump's former lawyers who has never prosecuted a case.
Donald Trump literally has had a mugshot because of the witch hunt against him.
But again, don't respond to my point.
I am. Yeah. James Comey, and one of the things I think people very clearly, if you watch him in his own words, he's very proud of the politicalization of what he did to attack Donald Trump. A great example was him grandstanding when he was sitting there on a forum talking about, I sent a couple FBI agents into the White House because I could, and the Trump administration didn't know what protocol was, so I took advantage of their ignorance or trust to go after General Flynn, to try to go after Donald Trump and get something on Donald Trump.
I like how Ben tried to invoke Trump's mugshot as some sort of proof or some sort of way to handwave this, which you're conceding in that they are politicizing the government. You're not even denying, neither the conservatives on this panel are denying that Trump is politicizing the government. You just invoke Trump's mugshot.
No, I didn't. I said that.
Is there a
single?
Can you show me a tweet from Biden asking his DOJ or asking his attorney general? So there's no tweet from Biden asking his attorney general to
Joe
directly
Biden
go after
didn't tweet much. He also didn't president.
Is there any line from President Biden saying go after these three people? If you can't point that to me, then you invoking Trump's mugshot is trying to both sides this when this is a clear weaponization of the DOJ.
What Biden did, he wrote a letter going after parents in Virginia and putting them on an FBI watch list. He went after Catholics.
You can't point me to a single example of Biden
or the IRS when they went after people.
Let's just back up a second. This is the first time we've heard this.
Let
me finish what I'm saying. So Trump ran an entire campaign talking about this. The Americans voted for this. So Americans were sick and tired of
a radical FBI that went after.
Let me ask you a question.
100%. So this is not a surprise that we're sitting here.
Hunter Biden was being investigated during Biden's term. Do you think Don Jr. would ever be investigated by Pam Bondi?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Wait, hold on. If he did a crime, I think, yeah.
No, he would not.
By the way,
Donald Trump Jr.
The Biden crime family.
You know that's not true.
Wait, let's be clear. Yes. Let's be clear about Hunter Biden and what Hunter Biden did.
If that wasn't the question.
Sitting on the board of Burisma right now and was taking massive amounts of money, I have no doubt. Again, I actually think that laws matter.
Hold on one second. It's just too many people talking at one time. For an entire week, conservatives at this table and across the country argued that Jimmy Kimmel's suspension was solely a business decision by ABC and not at all influenced by the government. And then Donald Trump wiped it away. He again threatened ABC for bringing Kimmel back, and now his vice president is contradicting that, claiming that the administration's threats are all just a joke.
Well, people will say as well, didn't the FCC commissioner put a tweet out that said something bad? Well, compare that, the FCC commissioner making a joke on social media. What is the government action that the Trump administration has engaged in to kick Jimmy Kimmel or anybody else off the air? Zero. What government pressure have we brought to bear to tell people that they're not allowed to speak their mind? Zero. We believe in free speech in the Trump administration. We are fighting every single day to protect it.
Now, before we discuss, it's worth noting that Kimmel's return scored 3 times his average viewership on TV and 15 million views on YouTube. That's a lot of people, perhaps some Sinclair and Nexstar subscribers, but I can't imagine that the vice president is not aware of what actually happened here.
This is the delusion of this conversation. He literally said that he was killed by somebody that was in MAGA. That was a lie. We knew that wasn't true. And he refused to apologize.
Let me ask you a
real men with integrity walk out there and say,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So has Don Jr. and Elon Musk and Senator Mike Lee apologized for saying that the Minnesota shooter was on the left?
I don't know if they have or not.
Okay, they haven't.
They have not.
So my point is,
case,
it's the exact same thing.
I'm okay with that. But Jimmy Kimmel, I think you can agree, this was a bigger issue at the moment.
That's it got more attention.
A lot more. He was crying on set.
But this was also a political...
He's crying on set. Not crying for Charlie Kirk
but not
or
only
his
Minnesota,
wife.
but not
crying
only,
because
but not
woe
only,
is me in my career.
This is why this somewhat falls on deaf ears, because this is why those individuals who are not Democrats or Republicans find all of us to be full of it. Because the simple fact is Don Jr. had a picture of a hammer in underwear after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in his home, right? And so when you have individuals who do that, and then you say you have all these other talking points about people chanting and celebrating Charlie Kirk's death on the left, and you don't really give a complete look at the voices who are saying that we condemn that. But let me just say,
lie about it.
But if you want to talk about the lie, I mean, look at everybody on Fox News who lied about 2016. I mean, is that the barometer?
Let me give Adam a second.
I agree with Bakari. We should look at the full picture. If you want to talk about Erica Kirk, she said she doesn't hate the other side. Then Donald Trump came on stage right after and said, I do hate my opponents. This is the president of the United States, not some comedian. And by the way, it is so incredibly clear that Trump is pulling every lever possible to make sure that everybody consolidates around him ideologically, whether it's with Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air, whether it's with Comey. I mean, I did the research. Donald Trump's priorities are so off that he has mentioned Comey on his Truth Social 2,042 times.
Yeah,
how many times do you think he's mentioned?
How
many times has he mentioned inflation? How many times has he mentioned inflation?
Well, when you fix him.
See, this is exactly the problem with Trump and the people who defend him. Adam's pointing out the obvious. Trump has ranted about James Comey over 240 times on Truth Social. But when it comes to inflation, which actually affects everyone watching this, barely half that. That's not leadership, that's obsession. And here's the kicker. Ben Ferguson's defense is basically, oh, well, if you fix inflation, you don't need to talk about it. No. First off, Trump didn't fix inflation. It spiked during COVID, and his policies like tariffs actually made things worse for American consumers. And second, a serious president should be talking about solutions, not personal vendettas. Adam exposes it perfectly. Trump's priorities aren't about Americans struggling to pay bills. They're about revenge and ego. And Ben's spin here? It just proves he has no real defense, so he has to pretend Trump's silence on real issues is some kind of genius strategy. It's not. It's weakness.
Inflation, you don't have to mention it.
He did not fix it, and he's mentioned it. He's mentioned it half as many times as Comey.
You're just wrong.
He's mentioned inflation half as many times as Comey on his Truth
Because
Social.
he actually
because
works
his priorities
on it.
lie in petty vengeances. Ben, let me finish.
Go back.
His priorities lie.
Ben,
we're talking about inflation right now, not about Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm just letting him finish his point, then we got to.
I'm just trying to say Donald Trump's priorities lie in petty vengeances, going after Comey, going after Kimmel, and he's not fixing this tariff mania. Right now, unemployment is up.
Is the economy good or bad right now?
We're going to leave it there.
Tariffs are making it worse.
All right, next for us, the president introduces a new renovation at the White House, and this one trolls his predecessor. Tonight, the People's House now has a trolling hall. The White House revealed a new presidential walk of fame with photos of presidents in order, but if you look closely, there is one particular president missing, or rather represented by something other than his face. Instead of a photo of President Biden, there is a photo of an auto pen. hilarious, I suppose. I mean, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the auto pen responding to this, by the way.
Feels very beneath the office, but I guess go for it.
True or false, the auto pen signed more things under Joe Biden's last year in office than Joe Biden signed.
I mean,
is it really trolling if it's true?
Doesn't Trump use the auto pen as well?
I promise you, when it comes to pardons and clemencies, it's going to be his own signature. Like, he actually shows up for work and doesn't take naps in the middle of the day. He had a 4-hour work day.
Let me just tell you,
his own team said
I will only vote for the Democratic candidate in 2028 that removes Trump's presidential portraits and replaces them with photos of him and Epstein. So many photos of him and Epstein. More photos than me and my own grandparents, I feel like. It's just Trump
I'm
and
still
Epstein
looking forward to the
over
auto pen responding to the outrage over the auto pen. I'm excited about it.
I think everyone has to listen to Kimmel and just like take the joke. I mean, it's funny. We got to laugh. And frankly, there have been Democrat presidents that have had way more offensive things that are beneath the office.
Like what?
Name one.
Monica?
I mean,
but he just mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. So look, my only point is that this is beneath the office. And I just remember back in something that I actually can remember when Republicans on Fox News and everywhere else were completely outraged about Barack Obama wearing a tan suit or having a selfie stick. This is how far we've fallen. Now we have somebody who actually has decorated the halls of the White House, making a joke. I mean, I just find.
Hold on, did they or did they not put Hunter Biden art in the White House? They did, and it made the value of the art go up. So then they sold said art. So let's dial that back a little bit.
If Biden would have hung up Trump's mugshot as a joke, you would be like curled up in a ball crying, saying nothing like this has ever happened.
I would have said I would expect that.
No, you would not be okay with that. You would say this is beneath the presidency. But the broader point is, why is Donald Trump still going after these petty grievances and all of these insane things?
I think they're just having fun. We got bigger problems. Why are we so upset about it?
I mean, I think maybe that's the point. We have bigger problems.
And the fact is, we have
a lot of bigger problems.
Who wants you to be talking about this?
It is. You have to admit, if you're just walking through and you saw that, it's a little funny.
It's both things. It's both kind of hilarious and kind of appalling, right? I mean, like at the same time, like it is funny. As I watched it happen, I'm like,
I will say, if he can fix
funny.
it, if Trump buys a Hunter Biden picture and puts it in between, then it'll be bipartisan.
I'm just so sick of everything being a joke, whether it's Trump like tweeting directly at Pam Bondi saying something, or whether it's Trump saying he wants
I assure you right now we need more jokes than ever, my friend.
Well, that's why Jimmy Kimmel's
The president's words mean nothing right now. The president's words mean nothing. This is a man who sets deadlines, blows through those deadlines. This is a man who makes...
You're reaching way too far, bro.
I'm not reaching it far at all.
It's pretty funny.
The president's words mean nothing, and we sit here and laugh as he,
All right, everybody, thank you very much. We'll be back in a moment. Another day, another act of political violence in America, and another round of the blame game. A sniper opening fire at an ICE facility in Texas, killing one detainee and hurting 2 others. The suspect died after turning the gun on himself. Now, not long after, the FBI director published images of shell casings with the words anti-ICE written in blue. Also, not long after the shooting, the political lines were drawn.
You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
So, look, this is extremely disturbing that there's another one of these types of shootings. I think we've got to deal with this as a country, first of all. But I also, just for starters, I'm curious, how does it help to have the vice president say that?
Because the third one in Texas. I mean, if you know people that work in law enforcement, my family does. I know ICE agents in Texas. This is the third attack we've seen in Texas, in the same district as the man in charge today was saying. Like, this is the second time he's had to have a press conference today.
Who was killed today? Who was killed today?
So you're saying since it
That's
wasn't...
not what I'm at. No.
So you're saying since it wasn't... It was innocent people that were killed today.
Don't put words in my mouth.
You asked a question. I'm answering your question.
You're
saying since it wasn't ICE agents that were killed, therefore this is a null and void conversation?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Are you kidding me?
That's gaslighting. I'm asking you a simple question because when J.D. Vance went up there, and when you're coming up here...
This is not a good argument from you.
First of all,
innocent people got shot today, and you're like, well, it wasn't ICE agents that got shot.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the division that you all are sowing in this country...
I'm not sowing anything. I'm saying protect all law enforcement.
Because of the simple fact, yes, protect
Gavin Newsom went on TV last night.
I don't like Gavin Newsom, so I condemn him.
You know, every time one of these tragic every time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up. So all of these factors, wait, hold up, Ben. All of these factors come together to create this pattern that we see of young men in my age range committing these shootings. And if you want to sit here and go back and forth, tit for tat, I can say Dylan Roof, Robert Bowers, John Earnest, none of these were black people. None of these were trans people. None of these were even Democrats. These were neo-Nazis who had things carved into their guns. You can sit here and muddy the waters, but you are just lying.
I just don't want innocent people to die. Sue me for that.
Then maybe tell Trump to tone down his rhetoric.
If you think this is Trump, this is exactly you literally just the political entire argument. So Abby, let me go back to
can I make something that might be a little more controversial than that?
Hold on.
See how it ends? Adam Mockler is literally trying to talk about the economy, tariffs, unemployment, inflation, the real problems people deal with every day. And Ben Ferguson's response? Just noise, talking over him, dodging, and spinning for Trump. That's the entire MAGA playbook right there. No solutions, no accountability, just endless culture wars and personal grudges. And here's the truth. Trump spent more time going after comedians and Comey than fixing the economy or helping working people. Adam exposed that, and Ben had nothing. That's why this debate matters, because when the right can't defend their record, all they've got left is chaos. And chaos isn't leadership. If you're still here, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this debate. Appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.